That's me. I'm recording.
Okay, now I am too.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power, and you're listening to WAYO-LP Rochester. Coming up next is The Sound of Tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about, stuff we've been doing, because that's always fun. We might be talking about how to find a therapist. It's really hard. If you've ever tried, super duper hard. We might have more scams for you. Who the heck knows? There's always good time talking about a scam, and we might have some hot picks. But first, we're going to play the theme.
I look really skinny right now in my little window.
Yeah.
Don't I look like very narrow? Like weirdly,
But
like
still like buff.
okay. Because I feel like I have sort of broadish shoulders.
Yeah,
But
slim
I feel
but
like I look
buff.
very narrow right now. Um,
Not too skinny though. I'm not worried or anything.
all right, good. Hey everybody, I'm Ross Johnson, your favorite co-host.
And I'm Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power. You're listening to The Sound of Tomorrow on WAYO LP Rochester.
We were just talking during the theme song about how narrow I look in the little video window. So if anybody cares about that, I don't know. I don't know why you would. So
Yeah. I
moving
don't know.
on.
I feel like I've got I don't know what auto tune settings I have on my Zoom, but I feel like I got my lighting a little less weird this week.
It is a little less weird. You look a little you look before there was sort of a weird tinting and now you look very white, not as in
I
Caucasian, but also as in Caucasian.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is with the lighting that I look pretty much like a cartoon vampire.
Hmm.
I look enough like a cartoon vampire, but I don't think I'm actually as pale as I appear on Zoom.
Like if I were a child and I were to draw, let's say I was like like if I was a child and I was going to draw a white person and I would just take the white crayon and then I put
Yeah.
little red lips and like little dark
Mhm.
eyes and that would be it and that would be you.
Yep.
So that's
Or if you were trying to draw a white person as pale as I am, you would just leave the color of the white paper you were drawing on
all right and
instead of
just
using one of the peach crayons to try to get like a white person skin tone in there.
oh yeah, because it's not peach. No, that
No.
color's not peach I'm seeing. No,
No. No, it's
absolutely
kind
not.
of it's white with like a small tinge of gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get the green yellow sometimes too. So those are nice it's those are
I
nice
do
colors.
get a little green yellow on occasion.
Yeah, which I think is like a nutritional deficiency, but I don't know. I feel like I take my vitamins, so I don't know what that is.
If I
I
just
feel
have to
fine.
start taking more vitamins, I don't know, I'm gonna scream.
Are
I
you a
haven't
vitamin girl?
I'm a vitamin person, I'm a supplement person.
Really? Do you take a lot of supplements? Can I ask, is this too personal?
No, it's not too personal. I take like a vitamin D and I take stuff for my hair and nails and skin
Okay.
and prebiotics and probiotics and a turmeric for my aging joints. Um, then I started taking zinc because my hairdresser said I might have a zinc deficiency. And, I can't afford actual medical care. So
So your
I take
hairdresser is
advice on nutritional deficiencies from my hairdresser.
so your hairdresser, I assume, is an old-timey barber who also does surgery. That they
Yeah.
would know medical information. Okay.
Yep. That's it.
That's
Um,
kind of doesn't surprise me actually.
yeah. And I think that might be it.
All right.
Do you take supplements?
I do, I do. I don't know. See, I need some actually the advice I need is probably like don't worry about it, it's fine. But I feel like since I decided to start working out in my mid
Yeah.
40s and never before, I feel like when I would do exercise as a younger person, like you'd lift a weight and then the next day there'd be a muscle, and you'd be like, "Oh, great." um and now I feel like it's a lot I don't know if I'm gaming the system well enough, you know what I mean? But I do take a yeah, I take sort of like a men's multivitamin occasionally as I remember. I've got some blood issues, so I don't take like medication for that, but there are some things I'm supposed to take for that. And um then I don't know. So I was reading about this is my like you know there's there's all the like women's fitness after 40 and the men's fitness after 40 stuff, and like you feel like 80% of it is just completely made up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I read an article about I read a very I read well a few very convincing articles about how I need like nitric oxide. I don't even remember why. I just know that I was bored that day and I went out and bought nitric oxide pills.
Huh.
Because
I've never even
it's
heard of that. What's that supposed to do?
God, I can't even remember. It's something about your blood circulation or something like that, and it's supposed to be good before a workout. Um, and I think it's good for. I mean, I when I say I think it's good for, I think there are people that say it's good for these things. I don't. I'm not.
Interesting.
I'm not sure about the scientific evidence, but you know how some of the stuff, like I'm sure we're very similar in that you read enough where you're like, I've got 20 extra bucks. I'll buy these
Hmm.
vitamins and what the heck.
Yeah.
And not at the point where I'm like, okay, the CDC is not backing up this information necessarily, but there are enough articles that sound sort of legitish from semi-legitish places that maybe I'll try this. So, um, I don't know if it's anything or not. It's supposed to be good for male type situations, like like middle-aged male type um
Oh.
situations, you know what I'm talking about? You know what, you following
Mm-hmm.
me? You going down the road with me?
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be good for that because it has something to do with blood circulation. So it was sort of one of those things. Generally, I don't feel like that thing that some middle-aged men get where they're like, I need testosterone and I might think, normally I'm like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, it's fine. But then sometimes I'm like, I should be more energetic and blah blah blah. I don't know. So I got a bottle of those, but I'm probably I sort of resolve myself to just I'm gonna take these, and then when they're done, I don't think I'm ever gonna buy anymore. But um then I got some this is wackiness. But so beetroot powder apparently is supposed to do the same stuff as the nitric oxide, which I learned after the fact. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, I feel like beetroot powder is probably like
I feel
a
like that's
more all
probably
around.
also got other things that it does because beets are just so nutritious.
So I just got some of that, and I think I'm just gonna do that instead of the thing because I'm not usually hungry in the morning, so I usually just have some kind of mixed nutritional shake situation. So to throw a little beet powder in that is fine. And then I do think I just do like plain I don't have turmeric pills, but I do think is the turmeric thing listen everybody, this is what's happening today. This is just going to be Ross and Heather wildly speculating about medical information, including things she got from her hairdresser and
That's
things
the
that I
thing.
read
I
in
mean, yeah,
websites I can't
you
remember.
just heard where we get our info from. We're really good about fact checking when we want to present things, but when
Right.
we're just talking about what we put into our bodies, oh, come on.
I
Like we
want to
have
be
facts.
Yeah, I want to be very clear. I don't even want to say like check with your doctor or check with reputable medical things before taking our advice. I want to just say like do not
This isn't
take
even
our advice.
advice.
No.
Maybe to
Um
each other. But that's it. Yeah, no, we are not
cuz
medical professionals.
so I think with the turmeric, I started doing a little bit of the just like actual turmeric. I would just put in stuff. I put it in my shake in the morning. I
Yeah.
think there's something too, and I'd love to know again because it's so hard to sort out even for people like us who are pretty good at research. It's so hard to sort out good medical information, and so much of it is like and partially because there are very few things that are like this is 100% sure it does
Mm-hmm.
this for everybody. A lot of it's like, oh, there's something to it because some studies show that in some people in certain situations it does this. So it's always like you're always kind of guessing like are are there enough studies that say it does that, and is it going to do the things for me, or is there some reason why that will not anyway. But I was noticing, being an elderly gentleman, I'm sure you get that thing where like sleeping is one of the hardest things you can do. Like you get up in the morning and you're like, ow, what was I doing all night? Oh, I was laying in bed and everything hurts. This is relatable, I assume. Maybe
Yes.
not.
No, most definitely. And I do have like another thing to say after we talk about turmeric.
um so there's all the stuff about inflammation and all
Yes.
things that cause and don't cause inflammation. And again, I think that that's one of those things where like you can definitely make a lot of assumptions based on research that says certain things in very specific situations and extrapolate it into larger situations. So like I don't know how real that is and how real the like, oh, you should eat this food because it reduces inflammation, blah, blah, blah. But I have found that reducing my carbs and doing the stuff with the turmeric, because they say like refined carbohydrates can cause inflammation. Again, this sounds very, please don't listen to this, everybody. Just turn off your radio right now, because this is, again, I have no idea how legit any of this is.
Stay tuned into WAYO LP Rochester and listen to us, because usually we come off like we're a bunch of authorities. So I feel like this is refreshing.
I feel like it's refreshing to just to hear
This
us
is
not know anything.
a peek into like, wow, they really don't know, and they might be poisoning themselves.
They might be poisoning themselves.
Yeah.
But I find when I reduce those kind of carbohydrates and like the turmeric maybe helps a little bit. Again, I don't have good data here because it's just me and I don't really keep track very well. But I think that helps with the sleep. I think there might be something to the inflammation thing, is what I'm saying. And there might be things that make it worse and make it better. And that might be real. Maybe.
I think it
Right?
might be. And I almost wonder with that. This is a very SOT topic. I heard a lot about turmeric from friends in India who are like,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that people in India, from what I understand, have just used for the longest time as a health food supplement.
Sure.
And I find with some of that stuff, because Western medicine is Western medicine and racism is racism, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
I think there are fewer studies done on things like turmeric. And then if you look at like the how big pharma likes to get wrapped up in it, does big pharma control turmeric? Not
Well,
yet. So then you get into that kind of stuff.
and I think that's the biggest issue, because there's not really money in, there's not, I mean, there's money in, there's a little bit of money in selling turmeric pills and selling turmeric and all that, but there's not money in like, we invented this thing and we hold a patent on it and we can charge
Yeah.
whatever we want,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the money is. So that's where the studies are, like you
Yeah.
say, like there's just not a lot of money in studying turmeric, because what do you do? Like, oh, we did a bunch of studies and proved that turmeric does this and this. Great. We can't really monetize that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
Except by
no
selling some
matter,
more turmeric pills.
but even the pills, like, they're not that expensive, and they're not even like FDA monitored or anything,
Right.
or at least not the ones I'm buying. I just remembered when you were talking about the turmeric, I have recently started taking chelated magnesium.
Ooh. That
And
sounds very made up as well. That sounds like
you
my
might
nitric
like to hear
oxide.
about this.
I can't
So
wait.
I was on social media and I was having a terrible time sleeping at that point. It was not too long ago. And I think I talked on this very program about how I didn't sleep anymore.
What's it
And
called again?
chelated magnesium.
Okay. I'm ready.
So a friend of mine, someone I actually know in real life, happened to post on Facebook, any tips on critical insomnia? I cannot sleep. I'll do anything. And I was like, friend, me too. So then someone I don't know posted on my friend's post, try chelated magnesium. I take one before bed and I sleep like a baby.
Really?
Yeah. So, of course, I went to Dr. Google, which is my primary care physician.
Because it's the only one we can
Um,
afford.
exactly, due to my insurance situation. And Dr. Google also reported that chelated magnesium is good for like post sports recovery.
Okay.
And because I am an ancient, just hag of a crone of a
Sure.
hag, just I don't even know.
100%.
I don't even know. Um,
Also a
on
harpy.
occasion, a harpy as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
Oh, you haven't called me a harpy in a long time. You
I
used to
have
call me a harpy
not.
when we worked at Kinko's.
I did. I did.
Um,
And yet here we are.
I've missed it.
You stuck
So
around.
even despite my decrepit age, I'm not yet just powder and sticks. So I work out a lot. And
Yeah.
that leads to things like my calves being so tight. I can't always get up and down the stairs without being in kind of extreme discomfort.
Oh, honey.
And so I was, because I started this new yoga thing and my legs were just killing me. And then I remembered, because a couple months ago, the chelated magnesium actually helped me sleep. And, or coincidentally, I don't know, I took it before bed. I actually started sleeping. Then I kind of forgot about it because I got back on track with better sleeping habits. But then when my legs were hurting so much, I was like, wait a second. I've got that chelated magnesium. Since I've been taking it, my legs feel a lot better. My
How
elbows are
does
still trash, but
how does one chelate magnesium?
I looked up because I didn't know what chelated meant. I looked it up on Wikipedia. Honestly, I don't know. I
Okay,
couldn't. I
still unclear.
it it's something about making like a mineral bioavailable.
Hmm. All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, because I was telling another friend about it as we do. This friend also, goes to Dr. Google as their main physician.
Mhm.
So just anecdotally, and I
Actually,
said like I don't know what chelated means, and then I looked it up, and then I messaged them back, and I said like, and I still don't know what chelated means.
I feel as though I don't know. I feel like yeah, I feel like most of the stuff is dumb, and there's a lot of confirmation bias with stuff too.
Oh, and I
Um,
wonder how much is psychosomatic with some of the stuff.
well, and as we've said before, if something's going to get me psychosomatically and do the job,
That's fine.
no issue. I will pay the $20 or whatever, not a
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Yep.
um, yeah, I don't know. I for my sleeping, I found I found a company called Botany Farms that will ship small amounts of what used to be a much less available um shady drug product that is now becoming increasingly more readily available. And you can just take a little before bedtime, and it tends to relieve some of my anxiety, and then I can get to sleep better. So that actually, for all the other nonsense of all the other stuff, for all the our chelated magnesium and nitric oxide, um, that like literally seems to like I can confirm that like I take it, it sets in, I can feel it, and then it's fine and I go to sleep. So that
Oh,
is, I mean, for all of the like, oh no, it's so bad. Oh my God, these children, they've gone reefer mad. It's like, no, it's actually kind of not bad. So
yeah.
I guess that's my other supplement, but that's
I
an
mean,
occasional
that's
thing because I
great
don't want to.
though, because I know we've talked a lot on the show about sleeping issues.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems to help quite a bit. So yeah,
So nice.
that's our life. I don't know. I wonder sometimes at our advanced ages if I need to be doing more to game the system, but on the other hand, I don't know, I kind of feel fine and everything's kind of working okay, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
But
And at the moment, my left elbow hurts a lot, but
yeah, my right arm sort of hurts, but I mean,
it's a long way from my heart.
yeah, exactly. So
So
that's
Ross,
what's
I
going on with me.
mentioned I mentioned Kinko's and how you used to call me a harpy when we worked there. And I was thinking just today, as the folks are listening to this, yesterday was the 4th of July as we're recording. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Do you remember that 4th of July when we both just worked at Kinko's?
Um, no.
It was a great day because the 4th was on some kind of weird day as it is this week, like a Tuesday. And we got double time and a half
Oh wow. Okay.
for working on a holiday and
I
working
probably still
overtime.
that must have been a lot of money. I probably still have some of that.
I know, right? I mean, but I was thinking about that and I was like, I would, if I made double time and a half, I would so be working tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Like, no
100%.
brainer.
I mean, I'm all for I'm very supportive when businesses close on holidays because I'm like, people need time off and people deserve to take a day off and spend time doing whatever. But then also, yeah, if businesses stay open and then they give people a lot of extra money, which I don't know that
Mhm.
they do. Like, I don't know what the laws are anymore with regarding that. So,
I don't know anymore
um,
either because we were young people when we worked at Kinko's.
right. So our double time and a half was like $4.50 an hour, probably. Um,
But cost of living was a lot lower then.
right. It wasn't that much lower. We were also very poor and not very well paid, but even proportionally.
That's true.
um but yeah, no, I don't know, I'm not too hung up on most holidays, so a lot of times I definitely have had things where like in the past where it's like you have to work this holiday and I go, okay, it's going to be very quiet. You're going to give me extra money because nobody will be here because it's a holiday. That sounds fine. No problem. Done. Sold.
Mm-hmm.
Not an issue. So I get it. I get it. I like it's nice if I you know it's nice when people have the option. I don't like the idea of someone being forced to work on a holiday when they
Yeah.
could be doing something else. And I don't like the idea of someone, and I also don't like the idea of someone who's like, I'd work and take a bunch of extra money if you want to stay open. And the place is like, nope, we're closing. It's a holiday. So I don't know.
I almost feel better about the nope, we're closing. Everybody gets to have a holiday.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice to like give people holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there are also sometimes people who really won't take a break. And sometimes if the company just goes like, no, sorry, you can't work today. And you can work
Well,
at
and
your
there
house, but not at our company.
well, and there are people who aren't given breaks also. So
Yes, exactly. Um, yeah, but so how's your fourth?
hypothetically great.
Yeah, mine too.
Um, mine is mine will be slash was, depending on how difficult it is for people who are listening to comprehend about when we taped this. Um, will be slash was spent up taking care of my beautiful girl Ileana,
I
who is
know.
deathly afraid of fireworks.
I feel so bad about that. I do think
Yeah,
of her.
yeah, we don't. Yeah, so we don't do anything on the holiday anymore. It's just like we're gonna stay in and take care of Ileana. And we've tried to figure out like places we can go, but there's really no place you can go, you know? And then
Yeah, because every town seems to be setting them off.
yeah, every
Though,
town and
Penfield did their fireworks on Saturday, I believe.
I mean with Henrietta, it's not even the town fireworks, it's just the people in the
The
neighborhood.
neighbors. That's my
Yeah,
neighborhood as well.
we can't even really hear the town fireworks so much. So,
Oh, I definitely can hear the city ones.
yeah. But yeah, so it's mostly just like randos setting off
Mm-hmm.
fireworks, illegal and otherwise.
Yeah. I know I mentioned this before we even started recording, but just the other night I was having a little patio party. Had a little fire pit going, and the neighbor two doors down was setting off like the ones that go way high in the air. And they're pretty, they're colorful, but they also make super loud noises. And every single time they lit one, I jumped. It was so dumb. I couldn't help it. It's just like startled me. It was
Yeah.
loud.
I don't even know, and I don't even know what the laws are anymore because I don't care. I know a lot more is legal than used to be.
Yes, I've seen the displays at Tops, the local grocery store,
Yeah, but
where I
then
have
supposedly
received confirmation they do mop.
they what? Oh,
They mop at
oh,
Tops.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird because yeah, I don't know. Like people are convinced. I check this every so often because people are like, "No, you can get anything now. It's wild. You can just get anything." And it's still technically like it's only sparklers.
Is it
Um
really? Because I thought in 2020 there was a new law that was just like, have all the fireworks you like.
no,
And then I
so
thought the law rolled back to be like, okay, not all of them.
yeah, no, so yeah, it's only what they call sparkling devices. So nothing that makes a loud noise and nothing that launches into the air basically.
That's
So,
so interesting.
yeah.
Because I know what I haven't seen this year are the tents set up in parking lots.
Oh, I've seen those all over.
You have? I just
Oh
haven't seen
yeah.
them.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all
But
I saw
then
was a display at Tops, like by the self checkout.
yeah, no, I've seen the fireworks, the
Okay.
parking lot setups. Although I think one caught on fire last year in
Oh my
town.
gosh.
Um
That's terrible.
yeah, or maybe that was just a fantasy I had,
With
not that I
nobody
want
in
to
it,
see a
but
thing. Yes, I just just I dislike the fireworks so much. But yeah, technically So I don't know where people get all the other stuff. I guess the same place they always have. I mean, it's not really any different, right? They just go to other states and whatever and come back or sneak things in. But
Right.
yeah, so you can have party poppers, you can have snappers, whatever that is. You can have the little snake things. Um, but yeah, you can't have anything that makes loud explosions or launches into the air.
Interesting. So no bottle rockets. Those, I cannot stand bottle rockets.
Yeah,
And I think it's because too many times I've been walking around my neighborhood for years and years and years, and people are just shooting bottle rockets. Like, not necessarily at people, but they're also like not caring that there are people there
right. Or houses or things that could
or
catch on fire.
houses or anything. And I can't
Yeah,
stand that sound.
yeah, it's sort of wild to me. I can't stand the sound. And I know, I was telling you before the show, I was talking to a friend just the other night who, I was talking about like staying up with my dog because
Mm-hmm.
she's scared of the noise. And
Yeah.
he's a military veteran. And he was saying, he said, "Oh, that's going to be me, except I'll just be taking care of myself." And
Yeah.
this is a young person. This is somebody younger than me, but basically he just
Wow,
knows
you
he
have
will be
young
cow.
friends.
I do. I do. I'm very popular across a wide age range. It's all my Hey Daddy thirst traps.
Uh-huh.
So that's really brought me, a new audience.
Very
But this is
nice.
this is like somebody I know. But um yeah, and he was talking about he's gonna be sort of cowering in fear. And I don't mean to minimize, I mean, I don't mean to make that sound like a weakness or anything like that.
No, not at
It's,
all.
but it's,
It's
you know, there
traumatic.
there are a lot of we have a lot of combat veterans in this country that may or may not be getting any sort of appropriate treatment. Whether you are or not, that doesn't necessarily gonna it's not necessarily gonna take away your reaction to explosions.
Mhm.
So, maybe that would be something that people could consider. I've seen a lot about, there's so much now, and I'm sure this is very expensive, but drone shows, the stuff you can do with drone shows now is wild and super fun, and that's what a lot of cities are doing now. I don't know how long that's going to take to like filter
So you
down
get a
to.
whole ton of drones and like fly them around in coordinated patterns with all their lights on them?
Yeah, have you never seen this? Yeah, I've seen it even at
I don't think
concerts.
so.
Like even at concerts they'll do like, instead of fireworks for concerts, they'll do like a drone display, and it's
How many
kind of like
big
fire.
concerts do you think I go to?
I don't know, you go to little concerts. They might
Yeah,
have one drone or two drones maybe.
well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, usually I'm in some dive bar.
Right. So they could have a drone potentially, don't
The
you think?
ceilings aren't that high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth a shot. Just one
Hmm.
drone with a blinking light.
I
That'd be
mean,
pretty
I've
fun.
seen when I go to the city display for the fireworks, I've seen people flying their drones up into the fireworks, but I think not to be part of the show. I think
Yeah,
that
they're
because it's
probably just like
probably
filming.
pretty cool lit to get some pictures.
Yeah, interesting. Um, hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
What the hell is this show even about? What are we doing? What are we
Well,
talking
what I
about?
wanted to say to you, we were speaking earlier of tents in parking lots, and I want to tell you about a tent in a parking lot that I recently visited. I
Okay,
went to the circus.
I was not expecting that segue. You went to the circus. Oh, good for
I
you.
went to the circus last week.
Were there
It
elephants?
No,
Good.
no animal acts.
Good. I don't
I
approve
keep
of
telling
elephants.
people I wore a leopard print dress so
Yeah.
that I was the animal act.
Hmm.
Um, so there was an animal act, but it was just me sitting in the very front row.
I'm so proud of
And
you.
it was great. My friend with whom I went sent me, because the air quality here in Rochester, New York has been pretty bad lately, and sent me an air quality index thing because when we went on Friday, the air was super bad. And I realized that the friend thought that we were going to be sitting outside.
Did you say the air quality around here?
I mean, everywhere, but yeah, in Rochester, right?
Specifically in Rochester, yeah, but also the also like North America, but yeah.
Yeah. You
It's
know,
all right.
but it
We're
was
very
just
low.
the posting for Rochester. It was not the
Sure.
posting for North America
Sure.
because we weren't going to the circus in like, I don't know, Kentucky.
Sure.
We were going in Rochester.
Sure.
And I realized my friend thought that we were going to be sitting like on folding chairs in a parking lot watching the circus. So I I replied like, oh, I think this is in a structure, like it's in a covered area and there's probably some kind of air movement system.
Sure.
And then I was like, but if we get there and you think anything looks sus, then we can leave. And I never say sus, I don't know, but it seemed apt. But then I realized my friend was going to the circus in the mall parking lot with me. So absolutely everything about this situation was sus. But it was awesome. It was so good.
Oh, good.
We rounded the corner of the mall and I could see the big tent like there in the distance, rising above all the other things. It was freaking terrific.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like some of the stuff was much more contemporary than I thought it would be, like modern song and dance.
Hmm.
And that makes perfect sense. It's just my mind thinks of the circus as something more old timey.
Yeah.
But of course, there would be like modern dancing and stuff.
Like what's modern
And
dancing?
oh, like I don't know, like an EDM song. And then the circus performers do like a choreographed dance, like maybe Lizzo's backup dancers would do.
Okay. But they're clowns, I assume.
No, they're like the acrobats who also dance.
Were there clowns though?
There was one clown,
Just one?
just one clown.
And you didn't
And
ask for your money back?
oh, it was all right because this clown was really good.
Okay.
Um, the clown was way more for the kids because this was a very family friendly event,
Hmm.
which again, I'm not necessarily known to be at family friendly events. And it, in a way, like that also took me a second when we got there. It's like, children. The circus is for children. That's right. And so when the clown started, at first both my friend and I were a little like, okay, with the clown. But then even though neither of us are like the people who, run up to little kids and want to meet them and say hi and shake their little hands and stuff.
Oh no, gross.
Um,
Yeah, don't do that.
right, no, I don't want to. The
Yeah.
clown really freaking had the kids' numbers and like knew how to work them up, and they were laughing and they were getting so excited. And even I, elderly crone curmudgeon, like I was like, that's pretty good. Those kids were having a freaking blast. That's nice.
That's really fun.
But then for the grown-ups, oh my gosh, there are like incredible acrobats. There are people doing the silks. There's a strongman who got up on one of those like pedestal type things with the blocks that move and did like all these back bends and handstands and wild stuff like push-ups in the air. And then there is the wheel of death at the end. And the wheel of death seemed to be inches away from us. I'm not joking. We were sitting so close that it was it was really hard to tuck our feet under the stage.
Okay.
So when we could, we were sitting with our feet kind of on the stage just a little bit. And the wheel of death takes up the entire stage. And it was incredible. You know what the wheel of death is?
I don't know what the Wheel of Death is.
It's that thing where there's a circle on one side and a circle on another side, and they're big enough for a person to get inside. And then it's mounted in the center so it rotates.
Okay.
And they use their bodies to work up the momentum to get it spinning. And
And
then
then
suddenly,
then it kills them.
well, I mean, it could, because then they start jumping around in the cages. The cages don't have sides, so that's dangerous enough. But then they get out of the cages and they're like jump roping on top of the cages and
Oh,
like
okay. That whole thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
swinging around and leaping through the air and everything. And it was so good. I was literally shrieking, which I don't think you've ever heard me actually shriek because I didn't know I could,
Mm.
but it was completely involuntary. It was not a, oh, I'll make a noise to show these performers how much I appreciate their talent. I was like excited and scared. And it was really, really, really good.
Was there a
But
monkey?
no, I
Yeah.
was the animal act.
I like monkeys.
I don't,
Not
I
at the
don't
circus, but I like
know.
monkeys.
I like
I mean,
monkeys too. There was the circus bear that was somebody dressed up in a gigantic bear costume. and you could get a picture with the circus bear.
Is that all the circus bear did?
Yeah.
Okay.
During the intermission, the circus bear kind of like walked around and they set up a camera on the stage and then kids could get their picture with the circus bear.
Did you have to pay for a picture with the circus bear?
Oh, you had to pay for everything. Water was like $8.
Oh, please. That's nothing. Come on.
I
Go
mean,
to stuff like that
yeah,
all the time.
no, everything was just absurd. Um, yeah, no, this wasn't cheap. Uh, it was worth it though. And it was really funny because during intermission, we got up and we were wandering around. And even I kind of thought, like, have we had enough circus? Should we go? And luckily we decided to stay because we were right in the front row. And I happened to mention, well, they're gonna notice we're gone. And I don't want them to feel bad. But I realized I think what happened with the thinking about leaving, we were just both so overwhelmed because I know my friend also doesn't like go to stuff like this too often. I think it was just so much spectacle. It was like, I can't. My brain is, nope, I need to go home. But it was so much fun. It was so good. So I'm super duper thrilled that I went.
All right. And this comes to town like once a year or just whenever, sometime?
No clue. I had never heard of it coming to town. But then over the weekend, a friend was telling me there was a circus downtown at Parcel 5 and they had a Wheel of Death. And I was like, how
Huh.
did I miss that circus?
Just like so it was a visiting circus. It wasn't just they have a wheel of death like just around for people to use.
Yeah, no, I don't. And it would be exhilarating.
Yeah, I would literally probably die because I'm not coordinated. So, but it would be
Yeah,
a
that's
literal
true. You
wheel of
do have
death
to
for
like
me.
keep moving with it, or
Yeah.
you'll just get flung away.
Especially the getting up on top
Well, the
thing
getting
and
up
all
on
that.
top, no way. I could
Yeah.
never do that. I could never, not for 1 second. If there
Yeah,
weren't an elevator,
I think most
most
people
people
couldn't.
couldn't. No, I think you
Yeah.
have to be like, I think you have to be a pretty highly trained acrobat.
I mean, I think you have to be an orphan or someone who ran away from home as a small child and joined the circus so you get those skills early. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, I don't really, I don't
I don't know
know.
where you acquire them.
It's like hibachi chefs, right? Like,
Do you
I don't
think they're
know.
just born like clacking their spatulas around?
I think probably I think it's the same category. I think hibachi chefs are probably also orphans or children who run away from home and join the hibachi restaurant. They run away from home, but they just go to their local hibachi restaurant.
And so
And then
so do they have child-sized hibachis or do they stand on a stool and use the grown-up ones?
oh, they stand on a stool and use the grown-up ones. I
There's no
think
accommodation made for the child hibachi chefs.
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that because I've never seen a child hibachi chef and I've never seen a child size hibachi area and I've never seen, you never go in there and like, like with cosmetology where you can go to the barber college or whatever, the cosmetology school and you get a
Yes.
discount. I've never seen that. I've never seen like, oh, get a discount and get the 8-year-old doing your hibachi. So I feel like they have to train on the actual stuff and they just like keep doing it until they get it. I don't think they make special stuff. No, I don't. I absolutely do not.
Interesting. Do you
Yes, this
think
is
being a hibachi chef, which is harder? Okay. Going up on a really, really high swing and balancing a folding chair on 2 legs and then sitting on it without holding on, is that harder or is aiming a shrimp at the mouth of a hungry customer and making it?
I think aiming a I think I'm gonna say this is maybe gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna say because like with the wheel of death, right? You're
Yeah.
only endangering yourself.
And the people in the front row.
Yeah, but I mean,
We were told not to get up. Like,
yeah, but I mean, I've never heard of anyone being murdered by a wheel of death that rolled
I
into the
bet it's
crowd.
happened. Oh, no,
I don't
no, no.
know.
It was more like the performers. If they were to fall, they would have fallen on us.
Yeah.
And they're
So you're
solid
just
muscles, so they've got to weigh a lot.
you're just gonna argue with my contention here. You're not gonna accept my contention that hibachi's harder.
Hibachis look really hot. And sometimes there's a lot of fire on them.
Oh, okay. So now you're gonna agree with me? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's not hard. I don't think it's Wheel of Death hard.
You don't think throwing hot food at people's faces without injuring people on a consistent daily, multiple times a night basis is challenging?
No, because I think these people are on the wheel of death like 7 days a week.
Right, which just makes it easier because they've got so much practice. Whereas the hibachi people, again, you don't know what's going to happen. Heather's sitting in the crowd. She's going to freak out when you throw the shrimp at her face.
Yeah.
And then she's going to like, I mean, you have to be prepared for any contingency because, and still get it in her freaking mouth because she's going to dive under the table. She's going to be whacking people. And you still have to like figure out how to get the shrimp into her mouth. So,
It's gonna turn into pilling a cat. Someone's just gonna have to grab me by my scruff.
yeah, no, but they don't. You've never seen that happen. They still get it in your mouth. You're under the table, and somehow that shrimp is still like lands in your mouth, or the rice ball, or whatever it is you want. I don't know what you have on your hibachi. So,
I really want hibachi now. And I do eat
hibachi,
shrimp these days. I would so eat like a shrimp fried rice.
yeah, hibachi is
That's all
really
they
good.
do on the hibachi, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing you can ever that anyone's ever gotten at a hibachi.
What else do they do?
There's lots of other food. It's a restaurant. There's a whole menu.
Huh.
I don't have a menu in front of me, but there's
Well,
a
it
whole you
sounded
can
like you
order all
did. You
sorts.
have all of these theories about hibachi
Well, that doesn't mean I've
and
memorized
the
every
children who
hibachi
make
menu.
it.
The child labor, the secret, the secret child hibachi camps. Absolutely, I have theories about that. Of course, I do.
We got the title right there, Secret Child Hibachi Camps.
This is gonna be all. You know how social media is just like become. Somebody just posts a thing, and then that's just real, and it gets passed around. That is gonna we're gonna be hearing about this, and we're gonna be like,
Mhm.
and people are gonna be like, I wonder where that rumor started, and we're gonna be
Well,
like,
now
I
we
don't know, I
know.
have no idea. We're gonna delete this episode so
Now
we
I'm going
can.
to tell everyone.
Did you see how did you see how no one's on Twitter anymore? Speaking of social media.
So I sometimes go to Twitter
Sure.
and I get very confused as to what's happening over there.
But like more so than previously.
I feel like it must be nobody's there anymore because I feel like I used to go and
Mhm.
I would see mostly content from people I really follow. And now I kind of have to search for content
Yeah.
from people I follow. And I don't enjoy that because that seems weird. Um, and then I get other weird content like huge fights over stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what this is about. Why are people fighting? It's the internet. That's why people are fighting.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it's being targeted to me.
Well, I mean, I think it's a combination of I think it's a combination of a lot of reasonable people have left. And I mean, so I mean the big thing that happened this past week was Elon Musk tweeted something about like, oh, we're limiting people's ability to view tweets because too many people are viewing tweets or something like that. And it was the weirdest thing. And you're like, okay, if you're a thing where the business model is like, A, people create your content for free for you, and then you sell them ads. The thing to do is probably not to like limit their ability to create free content for you and or to see the content because I don't know how that works then. You know what I mean? It's like if you go to the movies and they have the trailers and you're like, okay, we're limiting the number of trailers you can see. And it's like, what okay.
Yeah, it's like I thought you were
But
trying to sell me something.
so I don't know what the business model is if you're like,
Huh.
and if you're going to sell ads, like, hey, would you like to buy an ad on Twitter? This is the platform where we don't let people see things. But anyway, so that was the thing. But then it turns out there was some sort of cloud thing with Google where they just had where like Twitter just hadn't paid the bill. So they basically didn't have the server space anymore to let people see things on Twitter. And then also at the same time, Elon Musk, who at one point, I mean, this was years ago at this point, I thought seemed like a reasonable person. I think a lot of people maybe thought that. Um, Now he's doing things like retweeting Roseanne Barr
Oh
in her
boy.
recent interview where she talked about how I'm not going to repeat all of what she said because it gets more vile from this, but basically denying that the Holocaust happened. Um,
Yeah.
and then it gets worse. Like that was the
Yeah,
opening, and then it gets more terrible.
I
But I'm
believe
not
I'm
going to repeat
aware
all of
of
it.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
And
him retweeting that and being like, hey, this is great, free speech, you know? And it's like, well, okay. I don't know if I mean, she was not arrested. I don't need to go like showing it to all my friends and being like, look at the, it's free speech
Hmm.
doesn't mean you have to be like, isn't this so cool that she said the Holocaust never happened? Um,
Yeah.
so there were those things. So Blue Sky is the flavor of the month. I don't know. We'll see how this one goes.
Yes. Had Were you able to get in?
Yeah, I've been in there for a little while, but I haven't. I've done the weenie thing of like Elon Musk bought it, and I was like, I don't like Elon Musk, so I'm getting off Twitter. And then I was just so lazy, and then so I just kept going to Twitter, and then like Mastodon came around, or there was Mastodon, which I got on Mastodon, and then I was sort of like too lazy to do anything with Mastodon, and then Mastodon seemed to sort of die, and then there was Hive, so I got on Hive, and that was very gay and stuff.
Ooh.
But then that like crashed for like 2 weeks, and then everybody just like was like, we're never going back to Hive because we can't be bothered. So Blue Sky is the current flavor of the month. We'll see.
I'm
But yeah, so
still
I've been on there for a while.
waiting.
Are you?
Yeah, I do have the app, and I don't even know. I guess it was because a couple people I like. I think John Hodgman and Sean and McGuire
Hmm.
both somehow I found out they were going over to Blue Sky, and I was like, that sounds pleasant. These are people I used to enjoy seeing on Twitter.
Well, I'll keep you in mind because I used up all of my invites. I had a bunch of invites to give away, and then I only realized it because I didn't know where the invites showed up, so I didn't know I had these invites, and then suddenly I was like, "Oh, hey, I just realized I have these invites," and then people were like, "Hey, can I have an invite?" Including my husband, so he got priority. But
I would feel
actually,
sad that you didn't think of me, but I don't really use Twitter. So I'm not like a person, if you're thinking like, who uses Twitter and might like to use something else, I'll invite them. I think I'm probably pretty low on that list.
right, I that's and it wasn't like a planned like I've got these invites. Who are the most deserving people? It was sort of like, oh, I've got these invites, and at that moment, somebody was like, oh, I wish I had an invite. Adam Adam Lubitow, who's the interim director of Image Out and works at the Little and all that. He was like, at the moment I realized I had these invites, he was like, "Oh, I wish I could get on Blue Sky," and I was like, "I can help you." So it was not a
Yeah,
coordinated plan.
totally
Um, and
understood.
then and then I didn't think Mike would care either, but then he was like, "Hey, do you have a Blue Sky invite?" And he was my last one. So
Well, if you get any more, do keep me in mind. This when we're done recording, I'll just because every once so often I check the app and see if
mm,
it'll let me in, and it's like, oh, enter your code. I'm like, I guess I need a code.
yeah, I think you still need codes. I don't think that's forever, but I think they're because it's like a beta thing.
Oh, I
So I
remember
think
them
they're
doing that way back when, because again, I'm ancient with Gmail.
oh
And
oh
there was a
yeah.
wait list for Gmail, and then you could only get a Gmail account if somebody invited you who already had Gmail.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's that kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
at the present. So, but if I get another one, I will certainly I think they come on a regular basis, but I don't know what that basis is.
Awesome.
But yeah, I was
Yeah.
briefly very it was very flattering because I was briefly very popular with my because I realized how the invites work and where in the app I can see the invites I had at the same moment that that Twitter was doing this like, oh, we didn't pay the bills, so we don't have server space. So Twitter was just like kicking people off Twitter. um, so it was at that same moment. So it was like, what do we do? Well,
Oh,
I can help you, friends.
that's nice. Well, I'll show up there someday. And then I probably won't do anything, but I probably will check it on occasion.
It's hard, because listen, Twitter has become a horrible
Yeah.
alt-right QAnon type situation run by an absolute, I mean, really a kind of a business ninny. And not to mention like just an all-around kind of creepy weird jerk who's into all sorts of conspiracy theories, but also like this seems like you're bad at business because
Yeah.
you seem to be doing a lot of really counterintuitive things. Like limiting the ability of people to go to your site and see the ads that people are paying for, that kind of
Uh-huh.
thing.
So weird.
But you know, I don't know, but I had a lot of followers on Twitter, and it makes me sad that I feel like I have to like pack up and start over again. And I'm not, I had to scrape my way to that because I'm not famous. I'm not a celebrity.
You are.
I had to scrape my way to those followers. And starting over from scratch, it's hard. It's very challenging. Heather,
Yeah.
listen,
Well,
you don't know. It's very challenging. I've got like 100 followers on Blue Sky. That's what I had on Twitter in like 2008.
you can. There are ways to post on Twitter and get by them blocking it to let people know to follow you over on Blue Sky.
Oh, and I've done that. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah,
I
you can
can't find anybody on Twitter because I do go and you'd think I follow you. Why have I not seen that you were telling people to follow you on Blue Sky?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't see it.
I wouldn't give you an invite anyway, so you couldn't go see my stuff.
Well,
So, you know, I don't know. I have no idea how much longer we have to talk to you.
we have to talk for another, say, 13 minutes.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I set a
I
timer.
thought we were done.
I set a timer like a minute in. So you said you had some hot picks.
Yeah, why not? Let me see if I can remember what they are because I thought we were done, so I sort of put everything away. um,
Well, you're
you know,
doing. Oh, you found one?
yeah, so let me tell you. Um, so let me tell you about one of my favorite recent shows that I watched. And it is on Apple TV. And it is called Apple TV Plus, I should say. And it's called
Mm.
Pachinko, and it is one of the best it came out last year, so it's been out for a while and it's been sort of on my list for a while, but I finally got around to it's the kind of thing that is a little can be a little bit of a hard sell for Mike because it's not actiony sci-fi, but he loved it as well. It's a multi-generational story. It starts in the I want to say in the 20s or 30s, and it's basically a Korean family. It starts during the Japanese occupation of Korea. The family winds up moving to Japan. Then there's stuff in the modern day where some of the family lives in Japan still. The son has moved to America, and it's dramatic. It's beautiful. It's moving. It's funny, and it's also I'm assuming it's a Korean production or a joint Korean something else production. I'm not sure. I feel like it's maybe not a Japanese production at all because it's a little, I mean, the perspective is very much like the perspective is this, even though they eventually live in Japan, a lot of the family, the perspective is very much like, oh, this is Korea when it was horribly brutally occupied by Japan.
Okay.
So I maybe again, I could have looked that up, but I didn't. It's so good. And so addictive. I mean, so much so that the season ended and we didn't realize it was the season finale, and we were gutted because we were like,
Oh
oh my
no.
god, that was the last episode. For now. It's supposedly coming back for season 2. Although now all these streaming services are like canceling things after they've been filmed,
Yeah.
so that's a weird thing. But so hopefully hopefully there's a season 2. It's also got the best, I think, even if you're just thinking about watching the show, just Google the opening title sequence because it's got like my favorite like opening credit sequence probably of all time. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's joyful and fun, and it makes it makes me cry because it's so joyful. And
Aw.
it's nice to see with with the streaming services too, and Netflix has done a lot of this too, but this is sort of a bigger budget situation. There's a lot more opportunity, without getting one of like the Korean TV streaming services or whatever. There are a lot of opportunities to get shows from other places, and especially when you've got sort of a historical drama. The other thing that Pachinko does is that's really smart and really neat is that it's not chronological. So, you see the main character as a little girl, and you see her as an old lady in in the present ish. Um, so it doesn't, you don't sort of lose the thread you're sort of always, when you're seeing the old lady, you're always remembering like the young woman. When you're seeing the young woman, you're always remembering the old lady she's going to become, that sort of thing.
Mm.
So it jumps around in really neat way. Again, it's one of the best things I've seen in a long time. And just again, like I said, just the opening sequence is, I can watch it over and over again.
Wow, that does sound good. I have a, I think way less dramatic, I guess, for lack of a better term, hot pick. I
Okay.
started watching a really cute new show. I'm only 4 episodes in, and season one is only 10 episodes. It's called Glamorous. Have you heard about it?
I have heard of it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I think the star of it, and I don't know that the actual actor's name, but I think I saw some headlines about the lead actor just came out as trans.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably what put it on my radar. But also, it's very, very much something I would watch. So when Netflix was like, we think you might like Glamorous, I was like, yeah, you got my number. Because it's about this. And again, I said the actor just came out as trans, but in the show, this guy's a gay kid, or this person's a gay kid. And the kid is like obsessed with makeup and like being glamorous and stuff, and
Relatable.
yeah, gets a job working for a makeup mogul who is a former supermodel. And so it's just cute. It's like almost kind of so far a coming of age type drama,
Like it.
like
I
getting
like
the
it.
first job and, all of the mishaps and then like all the different boys who are interesting and stuff like that. And it's cute. The makeup is great. The set design is great. I'm really liking the stories. It's like super queer, almost to the point where you think like, would a company really have this many queer people? But then they do it honestly, realistically. It's like, oh, in the world of makeup like this, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I could actually really very much see that. And so that's nice too, because there's not just, because I don't know how much we've discussed it on the show, but queer is not a monolith. So like one of the characters, he's also gay, but he's like a really buttoned up, like preppy type guy. And his line is always like, I'm gayer than you think. Because he'll say
That's a,
something like, I call shade.
that's like me.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't have like a full beat every day, unlike
Right.
the main character. But yeah, it's just, it's cute. And when it's time to go to the gym, I'm like excited because I'm like, oh, great. I've got a program I'm really psyched to watch. That's going to be fun.
That's very exciting. I'll
Yeah,
have to
that's a
check that
good
out.
feeling. It's not a huge time investment. And you might think it's cute.
I bet I think it's cute. Do you who's gonna win Drag Race?
Oh, I think Jimbo.
Yeah. It's probably Jimbo, right?
I think probably Jimbo. And I love Jimbo. I also love Jessica.
I also love I feel like I think we can say this because it's sort of, so this is, I guess this is a spoiler if you haven't seen the most recent episode from like a week ago, but I feel like the top three was probably going to be Jimbo, Jessica, and Candy for a while.
Yes.
And I think that's a really, as much as this season has been upsy downsy for me with the
Mm-hmm.
drama, like I'm to the point where I was finding it like, I mean, I think RuPaul coming in and yelling at everybody was probably the right thing to do, because it was getting to the point where I was like, I don't even want to watch this. This is kind of stressful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was like, it's just over the line with, and it's not what I wanted of RuPaul's Drag Race. Like I want just the right amount of drama.
Yeah,
But
a little less than we've had this season.
yeah, so I felt like I feel like that's a really strong top three, and I feel like Jimbo is, I definitely feel like it's Jimbo's to lose, and has been probably for a long time.
I think from the jump, and
Hmm.
I listened to that Drag Her podcast, and I don't even know how they know everything they do about Drag Race. Really good memories, I guess. They're a little bit younger than I am. But they've been saying like from the get-go, like it's Jimbo's season. Look, there's
Yeah,
they've set up Jimbo, but also in my opinion, Jimbo deserves it.
yeah, I think Jimbo
Jimbo's like
deserves it,
super talented.
and I almost hate saying that because I was so excited to see. I mean, Jessica Wilde is one of my
I
all-time
love
favorite.
Jessica. They were saying on Drag Her today, they were like, oh, people had forgotten who she was. And in my mind, I was like, no, Ross and I forget every single queen, but we did not forget Jessica Wilde.
Right. Yeah, I've never forgotten Jessica Wilde, and I
Yeah,
never will.
no.
So,
And my memory is terrible.
mhm. But no, I'm thrilled to see her back. I think she definitely I think the top three is very strong. I think the top three is the top three that deserves to be in the top three,
Hmm.
despite all the weird drama and shenanigans and all that. And I think you know, I I like Candy as, I mean, not only incredibly talented, but also I think she, personality wise, she brings so much. But I mean,
Hmm.
I think, for me it's like I want it to be Jessica because I love Jessica so much,
Yeah.
but I also love Jimbo, and I think Jimbo is, again, I think you're right. I think it's his to lose.
Yeah.
I
If
think
somehow they
Jessica's a number two for me.
if somehow they throw us in candy wins, I'm going to have feelings about that. Not terribly strong ones because it's a television program and these queens
Hmm.
are great and super famous and incredibly talented and it's going to be fine.
Hmm.
But I just, if Jimbo or Jessica won, and I think it's going to be Jimbo, I love Jimbo. But
Hmm.
then I also like just adore Jessica. So I
I
don't want, I don't necessarily want Candy to win it. I don't think she has a chance.
Yeah, I kind of don't know either. And honestly, I think as much as I love Jessica, I, if Jessica won, I'd even be a little like, oh, I feel like Jimbo deserved it more.
She
I
didn't do as well as Jimbo just because Jimbo like knocked everything out of the park.
hmm Yeah. So, but again, I think it's a really strong top three. I think it's a good mix of talents and personalities. So I'm glad the season got to a place that I was, because in the middle I was like, not I wasn't even like rushing to watch them.
Yeah.
I was sort
I
of,
was
I
too
mean,
good for Jimbo.
one time I was a couple weeks behind, which is unusual for me, but
That is.
now I'm
But
back.
now
I'm
we're on
back. I'm
track.
into it.
And now we'll know soon. Well,
Hmm.
speaking of a mixture of unique talents and voices, we have been the Sound of Tomorrow, bringing you just that. Not this episode, not necessarily, but it was a fun one.
Yeah.
Um, Thanks for listening, Space Cadets. We will be back at some point. I haven't even told Ross this. I'll be out of office next week. I don't know if I'll have time to put something together or not, but we'll figure that out. It doesn't really matter
All right.
now. What matters for now is that you stay tuned to WAYO LP Rochester. Thanks for listening.
Boop boop. All right.